The door swung open like a gunshot in the dead of night, and there he was, shirtless, sweat slicked. His jeans slung low on hips that screamed sin. "Holy shit!" I gasped, my towel slipping from numb fingers, heart slamming against my ribs like it was trying to escape the crime scene of my own body. In that frozen second, our eyes locked, and I knew. This wasn't just awkward. This was the kind of collision that rewrites your goddamn DNA. I stood there in the cramped bathroom of our off-campus apartment in Seattle, steam still curling from the shower like cigarette smoke after a bar fight, my skin prickling under the fluorescent buzz. Alex's brother, Jordan, she'd called him once, in that offhand way you mention a storm cloud on the horizon, had just barged in without knocking, his duffel bag slung over one shoulder, looking every bit the prodigal son returned from whatever East Coast hellhole he'd been conquering. He was taller than I'd imagined, built like a lumberjack who'd traded axes for gym reps, with ink-black hair cropped close and eyes the color of Puget Sound on a moody day. And me, Christopher Hale, king of bad timing, buck naked except for the shock freezing me in place. Dude, sorry," he muttered, but his voice was gravel and honey, low enough to vibrate through the tile, and he didn't look away. Not right away. There was this beat, this electric hum between us, where the air thickened and my pulse thundered in my ears. I snatched the towel, wrapping it around my waist like armor that suddenly felt paper-thin, heat flooding my cheeks and lower, unbidden. It's cool," I lied, my voice cracking like a teenager's. Alex was out grabbing takeout sushi, probably her go-to for late-night cram sessions, and she'd mentioned her brother was flying in for the weekend, some family thing before Thanksgiving. But she hadn't warned me he'd show up at 10 p.m. on a Thursday, catching me mid-routine. Gym, shower, crash. Now here we were, two strangers sizing each other up in a space smaller than a confessional. Jordan finally blinked, dropping his bag with a thud that echoed my heartbeat. "You must be Chris. Alex talks about you nonstop. Said you're the one keeping her from flunking bio." He flashed a grin, crooked, disarming, the kind that probably melted boardrooms or bedrooms back in New York, where he worked some finance gig that sounded like adulting on steroids. "Yeah, that's me. Human shield." I forced a laugh, stepping aside so he could edge past to the sink, our arms brushing in the narrow pass. Sparks. Actual goddamn sparks. Like I'd rubbed my feet on carpet too long. I caught his scent. Clean soap undercut with something woodsy, expensive, and it hit me like a sucker punch. "Get it together, Hale. You're not out, not to Alex, not to anyone. This city's rain might wash away sins, but it doesn't erase the Bible verses Dad drilled into me back in Spokane." He washed his hands, glancing at me in the mirror. Those eyes again, probing, like he could see the closet door I'd barricaded shut. "Long flight. Mind if I crash on the couch?" Alex said it's fine. "Go for it. Mi casa es su casa," or whatever. I leaned against the doorframe, towel knotted tight, trying to play it cool while my brain screamed abort mission. But cool fled when he turned, water dripping from his chin, and peeled off his damp hoodie in one fluid motion. Tattoos snaked up his arms, geometric lines, a compass rose on his bicep that pointed nowhere good. Broad chest, defined abs that dipped into the V of his waistband. I swallowed hard, gaze snapping up before he caught me staring. We migrated to the living room, a thrift store disaster of mismatched furniture and posters peeling from the walls. Nirvana shrine on one side, Alex's indie film stills on the other. I tugged on sweats and a hoodie, the fabric chafing against skin still humming from the encounter. Jordan sprawled on the couch, legs kicked out, scrolling his phone like he owned the place. Which, in a way, he did. Alex's stories painted him as the golden boy, the one who'd escaped their small-town Oregon roots while she clawed her way through UW. "So, what's your deal, Chris?" He didn't look up, but the question landed heavy. "Alex says you're pre-law, top of your class. Future shark in a suit." I dropped into the armchair, knees bouncing. "Something like that. More like Guppy right now. Still figuring out how not to get eaten." Truth was, law was Dad's dream, not mine. Writing, stories, that's what lit me up. Late nights scribbling in notebooks about boys who got to love without apology. But Spokane didn't breed dreamers. It bred survivors. Jordan chuckled, low and warm. "Fair. I was the same at your age. Thought Wall Street was the endgame. Turns out it's just a fancy cage." He set his phone down, finally meeting my eyes. You ever feel like that? Like you're running toward something that's already slipping away? The question hung there, vulnerable in the lamplight, and for a split second, I saw it. The crack in his armor. The guy who had it all, job, looks, that effortless charm, was fraying at the edges. All the time, I admitted, voice barely above a whisper. Rain pattered against the window, Seattle's eternal soundtrack, blurring the city lights into halos. Alex burst in then, arms laden with styrofoam boxes, her pixie cut damp and wild. Jordan, you made it! Hugs, squeals, the sibling reunion that shoved me to the periphery. We ate cross-legged on the floor. Spicy tuna rolls and miso soup steaming up the chill. Trading stories like poker chips. Jordan regaled us with tales of Manhattan mergers gone wrong. Alex countered with lab disasters involving exploding petri dishes. I chimed in with half-hearted quips, but my eyes kept drifting to him. The way his laugh crinkled his eyes, how his fingers drummed the beat of an invisible song on his knee. By midnight, Alex yawned her way to bed, leaving us with the TV flickering some Netflix thriller neither of us watched. You don't have to babysit, I said, stretching, aware of every inch between us on the couch. Not babysitting, just not ready to crash. He shifted closer, the cushion dipping, our thighs almost touching. Tell me something real, Chris. What's the one thing you'd change if you could? My throat tightened. Real? God, where to start? The lies to my family, the hookups and shadows that left me emptier, the fear that choked every honest breath. I'd stop hiding, I said finally, staring at the screen where shadows danced. From everyone, myself most of all. Silence stretched, thick as fog off the sound. Then his hand, warm, calloused, brushed mine on the armrest. Not accidental, intentional. Me too, he murmured, thumb tracing a slow circle on my knuckle. Been hiding a long time. The air crackled. I turned, and his face was inches away. Lips parted, eyes dark with the same hunger gnawing at me. Our breaths mingled, and then, fuck it. I leaned in. His mouth met mine, soft at first, tentative like testing storm clouds. Then deeper, urgent, his fingers threading into my hair, pulling me closer. Taste of soy and salt, heat blooming low in my gut. It was messy, desperate, the kind of kiss that shatters safe words. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed together. Shit, I whispered, reality crashing back. Alex in the next room. My secrets. His life 1,000 miles away. Yeah, he echoed, voice wrecked. Shit. But as he pulled me in again, slower this time, savoring, I let myself drown. For once, the rain outside felt like mercy. The next morning hit like a hangover without the whiskey. Sun slicing through the blinds, coffee brewing its bitter salvation, and Jordan's duffel still zipped by the door like a promise or a threat. I woke tangled in my sheets, replaying the night in technicolor flashes. His hands on my waist, the scrape of stubble, the way he'd whispered my name like a prayer. Christopher. Not Chris, not Buddy, Christopher, drawn out, intimate. My phone buzzed. Dad's weekly check-in text. Proud of you, son. Keep grinding. Guilt twisted sharp, but I shoved it down, padding to the kitchen in boxers and a tee. Alex was already there, frying eggs with the focus of a surgeon, her energy a whirlwind post-reunion high. Morning. Sleepyhead. Jordan's out for a run. Said something about jet lag jitters. You two get along last night. My stomach flipped. Yeah, cool guy. I poured coffee, black as my mood, avoiding her eyes. She'd kill me if she knew. Her straight-arrow brother and her straight-laced roommate crossing lines that didn't exist on her map. Alex was my rock. The one who dragged me out of freshman year isolation with her noble shit vibe and shared bong hits. Telling her I was gay? That was a bridge I'd burn later. Much later. Jordan returned slick with sweat, tank top clinging like a second skin, and the sight of him, flushed, alive, sent my pulse skittering. Hey! He said, casual as hell, grabbing a mug like we hadn't mapped each other's mouths hours ago. But his eyes, they lingered, a secret code in the steam. Breakfast blurred into easy chatter. Plans for the day? Pike Place Market maybe? Or a hike up to Rattlesnake Ledge if the weather held. Alex opted for library duty, leaving us to bond. Her air quotes innocent daggers. Bond. Jesus. We ended up wandering Capitol Hill instead. Seattle's queer heartbeat disguised as hipster haven. Coffee shops with rainbow mugs, murals of intertwined hands, the faint thrum of drag brunch spilling from open doors. We talked, really talked, for the first time without the buffer of siblings or screens. Jordan opened up about the grind. 80-hour weeks trading bonds, the hollow ache of climbing a ladder built for someone else. Dad always said success was the suit, the salary. But it's like, I'm suffocating in silk. His voice cracked on the sidewalk, rain starting to spit from the evergray sky, and I wanted to pull him into the nearest alley, kiss the confession out of him. And you, he nudged my shoulder, our pinkies brushing, a spark in the drizzle. Pre-law hotshot, what's eating you? I hesitated, boots splashing puddles. Family stuff, grew up in this evangelical bubble. Spokane's not exactly Pride Central. Dad's a pastor. Mom bakes pies for potlucks. Coming out? That's not an option. Not yet. The words tumbled, raw and unfiltered, and it felt like shedding skin. He stopped under a bookstore awning, turning me to face him. Hey, that's brave as hell. Just saying it out loud. His hand cupped my jaw, thumb stroking my cheekbone, and the street faded. The honks, the hipsters with their oat lattes. Just us in this stolen bubble. I've been there. Came out in college, but Wall Street, it's all bro code and blondes on your arm for the optics. Fake as fuck. We kissed again. Right there, soft, defiant, rain mingling with the taste of him. A passerby wolf whistled, but it didn't matter. For the first time, I felt seen. Not the dutiful son, the straight-A grindstone. Me. The weekend unspooled like a fever dream. Lazy afternoons in my room while Alex napped, his body slotted against mine under the covers, hands exploring with the reverence of first snow. We'd whisper futures, him ditching finance for something real, maybe writing code for nonprofits. Me applying to lit mags instead of law firms. We could do this, he'd say, tracing patterns on my chest. New York, Seattle, doesn't matter. As long as it's us. But cracks spiderwebbed in. Saturday night, Alex dragged us to a dive bar on Broadway. Neon signs buzzing. Locals nursing IPAs under taxidermy deer heads. Jordan fit right in, charming the bartender for free shots. But I caught the flinch when a guy at the pool table eyed him too long. Old habits, he muttered when I asked, downing tequila like medicine. Then the call came, his ex, Mia, some Manhattan socialite who'd ghosted him months back. I overheard from the bathroom stall, heart plummeting as he soothed her tears over one last talk. It's nothing, he assured me later, but the lie hung sour. Jealousy gnawed, irrational and sharp. Was I just a weekend detour? A taste of what he'd buried? Sunday dawned brutal. Hangover fog. Alex's pancakes turning to ash in my mouth. Jordan's flight was noon, and the airport run felt like a funeral procession. Wipers slapping against sheets of rain. At security, he pulled me into a hug that crushed the air from my lungs. This isn't goodbye, he breathed against my ear. Text me. Call me. Whatever it takes. I will. Our kiss was fierce, hidden in the throng, his fingers digging into my hips like anchors. Then he was gone, swallowed by the crowd, leaving me hollow. Back home, Alex cornered me in the kitchen, arms crossed. What's with you two? You're all moony. Panic surged. Had she seen? But she laughed it off. Kidding. He's just intense. Like family. Relief warred with guilt. That night, alone, I scrolled his Insta, polished shots of skyline toasts, arm around suited brothers. No Mia, but the caption on one, chasing the dream. Hustle. Was that us? Or just another illusion? Texts flew hot and heavy at first. Good morning, beautiful. Miss your laugh. Late night voice notes, his voice husky with want, painting pictures of stolen weekends. But work swallowed him. Mergers, deadlines, and mine crept in. Midterms, Dad's surprise visit looming like storm clouds. Proud of you, son, he'd say, eyes scanning for cracks in my facade. 3 weeks in, the first fracture. A call at 2 a.m., Jordan slurring through scotch. She showed up at the office. Mia wants to fix us. My blood iced. And you? I told her no. But, fuck, Chris. It's easy with her. Safe. The line crackled. Miles of silence. Safe. The word gutted me. Was I the risk? The complication? We need to talk, I said, voice steady as rebar. In person. He agreed, but days stretched to weeks. I threw myself into routine, gym till muscles screamed, pages of half-formed stories about boys who broke free. Alex noticed, prying gently. Spill, Hale. You're brooding like a Bronte. I deflected, but the dam cracked one rainy Tuesday. Post-yoga buzz. Words spilling over cheap wine. I'm gay, Alex. And Jordan. We. Her face crumpled. Not in disgust, but hurt. My brother? Chris, he's straight. Or was. He dated Mia for years. Betrayal flickered. Had he lied? Or was I the fool? She hugged me anyway, fierce and forgiving. Talk to him. But if he hurts you. The threat hung, sisterly and steel. Called. Voicemail. Text. We need truth. Days later, his reply, coming back. For you. Hope flickered, fragile as Seattle sun. But deep down I braced. Love like ours? It didn't come easy. Came bloody. The plane touched down in a downpour that mirrored the storm in my chest. Jordan emerging from Seattle Tacoma like a ghost materializing from fog. Trench coat slick, eyes shadowed under the brim of a wool cap. It was mid-December now, campus strung with twinkly lights that mocked the chill in my bones, and I'd waited at arrivals with a cardboard sign like some rom-com cliché. Jordan in block letters, underlined with a heart I regretted the second the sharp had dried. He spotted me, grin flashing brief and brittle, and pulled me into a hug that smelled of recycled air and regret. Missed you, he murmured, lips brushing my temple, but his grip was tentative, like holding smoke. We drove back in silence, punctuated by wiper blades and radio static. Some indie station crooning about lost lovers in the rain. My apartment felt smaller with him in it, duffel thudding to the floor like an accusation. Alex was at her parents' for the holidays, leaving us the space but also the echo of unspoken truths. Talk, I said finally, perching on the kitchen counter, arms crossed like a shield. All of it. He paced, hands raking through his hair, unraveling the careful coif. Mia's, persistent, showed up at my place last week, drunk, crying about how we were meant to be. I let her crash on the couch. Stupid, I know, but nothing happened. Swear it. His eyes pleaded, stormy and sincere, but doubt gnawed. Safe. That word again. And us. My voice cracked, betraying the boy who'd armored up for this fight. Am I the experiment? The guy you kiss when the city's queer enough to hide it? God, no. He stopped, closing the distance, hands framing my face. You're the realest thing I've felt in years. Mia was habit, easy, like you said. But you're the wake-up call. He kissed me then, slow and deep, pouring apology into every stroke of tongue, every press of body. I melted, hating myself for it, hands fisting his shirt as we stumbled to my room. Clothes shed like confessions. His trench pooling on the floor, my hoodie yanked over my head. Skin to skin, we mapped familiar territories with new urgency. His mouth on my collarbone, teeth grazing. My fingers digging into the taut muscle of his back. He moved like penance, deliberate, drawing gasps that echoed off the walls. I love you, he whispered against my throat. The words a detonation. Raw, unbidden. Love. Not lust. Love. I shattered under him, tears pricking as release crashed, his name a litany on my lips. Afterward, tangled in sheets damp with sweat and rain-scented air, I traced his tattoos. Say it again. I love you, Christopher. Sober now, eyes locked on mine. Scary as hell, but true. We spent the week in a bubble. Walks along the waterfront, breath fogging in the crisp air, hands linked under coats. Nights cooking pasta that burned because we couldn't keep our hands off each other. He opened up more. The pressure from his dad, a retired cop who'd equated manhood with marriage and mortgages. The one-night stands in college that left him hollow before he even knew why. Coming out was easy compared to this, he admitted over mulled wine at a hole-in-the-wall cafe. Admitting I want more than the script. I shared too, the sermons that branded desire as sin, the first fumbling hookup in a dorm bathroom that tasted like shame. Dad's coming for New Year's. Invites the whole congregation. If he knew. The words died, fear coiling tight. Jordan squeezed my hand under the table. Then we face it. Together. But together cracked under reality's boot. New Year's Eve, Alex returned. Her folks visit a minefield of passive-aggressive jabs about settling down. She cornered Jordan in the hall while I pretended to chop onions. What's this with Chris? Her whisper carried, laced with protectiveness. It's real, Lex. His voice steady, but I heard the plea. Don't make me choose. She didn't reply, but the frost settled. Texts from Mia escalated. Voicemails I accidentally heard. Her voice syrupy. Come home, babe. We can forget Seattle. Jordan deleted them, but the poison seeped. The betrayal hit on a snow-dusted January morning. Campus buried under an uncharacteristic white blanket that muffled screams. I'd woken to an empty bed, Jordan sighed cold. A note. Meeting with Dad. Back soon. Love. I paced, anxiety chewing wires, until my phone lit up. Not him, but Alex, face pale as she thrust her laptop at me in the living room. Look. Her finger trembled on the screen. Jordan's work email, forwarded by some anonymous busybody. Attachments, photos, grainy but damning. Him and Mia, tangled in a hotel bed, time-stamped 2 nights ago. Manhattan skyline mocking through the curtains. Caption in the email. Tell your boy the truth. Nausea roiled. No. Denial first, sharp as glass. Then rage, hot and blinding. Alex pulled me down, arms iron bands. I'm sorry. I hacked his don't ask. But you deserve to know. He walked in at noon, cheeks ruddy from the cold, bearing coffees like peace offerings. Hey, beautiful. The nickname died as he saw our faces. The open laptop like a guillotine. Chris? What's? You tell me. I shoved the screen at him, voice arctic. Photos loaded slow, torturous. Her legs wrapped around him, his face buried in her neck. Intimate. Recent. Jordan blanched, coffee cups tumbling to the rug. It's not fuck. It's not what it looks like. But his eyes darted, guilt screaming louder than words. Then what is it? I roared, the dam bursting. You said you loved me, said she was nothing. And now this? While I'm here spilling my guts to my roommate, coming out because of you. He sank to the couch, head in hands. She cornered me at the bar after Dad's thing. Pushed too much scotch, too little sense. It was one night. Stupid. I swear. It meant nothing. Nothing? Laughter barked out, bitter. You flew across the country for nothing? While I'm planning how to tell my dad I'm queer, because you made me believe in us. Alex hovered, torn, her brother, her friend. Jordan, fix this. Or get out. He looked up, wrecked. I love you, Chris. This us, it's everything. Mia's the past. I ended it for good this morning. But the trust was ash. I backed away, chest heaving. Get out. Both of you. I need air. The door slammed behind them, snow swirling like confetti from hell. I collapsed, sobs racking, the apartment echoing my unraveling. Betrayed not just by him but by the hope he'd planted. Love, it turned out, was a liar with pretty teeth. Days blurred into a gray haze. Classes skipped, texts unanswered. Alex's apologetic notes slid under my door. Jordan's voicemails piled. Raw pleas, promises of therapy, of quitting his job to prove it. I'm flying back, please. But I ghosted, burrowing into denial's burrow. Dad arrived unannounced, his rental car crunching snow in the lot, Bible tucked under arm like a weapon. Over diner coffee, black, no sugar, he eyed me sharp. You look peaked, son. Girl troubles. The lie rose easy. Yeah, bad breakup. But his gaze pierced, and something in me snapped. Actually, Dad, it's a guy. Silence stretched, eternal as judgment. Then, miracle of miracles, he reached across, hand on mine. Christopher. Voice gruff, but eyes soft. I've known since you were 15. The way you looked at that neighbor boy. Prayed you'd find peace with it. Tears stung. You. What? God don't make mistakes. Took me years to see it. He pulled me into a hug. Awkward but real. The first crack in the wall I'd built. Healing started there, slow thaw. I texted Jordan. Coffee. Neutral ground. He showed, hollow-eyed, no defenses. I'm sorry, he started. But I held up a hand. Me too. For believing it could be simple. We talked hours, raw as open wounds. His addiction to safe, My terror of vulnerability. I want us, he said finally. But only if it's all in. I nodded, tentative. All in. Spring bloomed hesitant, us rebuilding brick by fragile brick. Therapy sessions via Zoom, weekends where he flew in bearing tulips and takeout. Alex thawed too, her forgiveness a gift wrapped in warnings. Hurt him again, and I key your beamer. By summer, we'd carved a path, him transitioning to fintech for social good, me submitting stories to journals that printed queer truths. No grand gestures, just quiet ones. His hand in mine at Pride, rainbow flags whipping in the wind. My head on his shoulder during Dad's visit, acceptance blooming awkward but true. Love, it turned out, wasn't a fairy tale. It was messy, scarred, human. But in the ruins we built something real, a life, changed, forever.